Hey internet, it's Phil. So this video is going to be all spoilers. If you're intending on playing Nier Automata sometime soon, please go do that before you watch, because I'm going to be summarizing one of the best sequences from the game, and it's really worth experiencing organically. But seriously, I'm going to spoil everything. You've been warned. Nier Automata broke me. I have absolutely no problem telling you that the storyline I'm going to be talking about made me cry harder than I have in probably years. I was a hot mess. It's a masterful sequence and storyline, and I'm blown away by how well Nier used its setting, theme, characters, and game mechanics in service of the story. For some quick setup, in Nier Automata, Earth has been decimated by thousands of years of war between sophisticated human-made AI androids and simple-minded alien-made machine life forms. The humans are all dead, though the androids believe that there's a few still hanging out on the moon waiting for the war to end. The machines likewise have killed all the aliens and are continuing the war on their own. They're all connected by a network, and when the game begins, they've started to develop uncommonly human traits as data on humans has entered the network. However, because they've only started evolving recently, it tends to be kind of weird. As part of a strategy to diversify the machine's evolution, some machines develop individuality and disconnect from the network. A group of these machines form a village where they can live in peace. The androids 2B and 9S are led to the village, initially in disbelief because they've never met machines with actual personality before. They soon become friends with Pascal, the leader of the village, and come back to it a few times. Now, Nier Automata is a game you have to play through a few times to get the full story. The first and second playthroughs are nearly identical, which lulls you into a false sense of security, so the third playthrough can destroy everything you love and leave you a hollow shell of a person. In this playthrough, 2B bites it and you get to be A2, a renegade who's been cut off from the other androids. Unlike 2B, she hasn't gotten to gradually see the machines evolving, so when she finds Pascal's village, she's a lot less receptive to the idea. She's ready to take everyone out because killing machines is just what she does, but Pascal encourages her to get to know everyone. This is the beginning of the heartbreak, so strap yourselves in. A2, who has been alone for years, starts to warm up to the machines, even agreeing to do some side quests for them. When you do Pascal's side quest, you get to control him for a few moments as he reads a philosophy book. This is a sweet scene, but it's very uncommon for you to control another character, so it's already kind of off-putting. And then Pascal promises to play with the machine kids later. Like, super promises to play with them later no matter what. This immediately sends you some red flags and you know something awful is about to happen. There's a rumble, and A2 is called back to the village, and you know that you're about to find something grim, but what's actually happening is truly horrifying. The village is under attack, but the enemies are not machines from the outside. A bunch of the village machines have gone berserk and are literally consuming their friends and family. This would have been devastating even if it was the end of this story. You see some of the NPCs you've helped along the way being brutally consumed without any way of saving them. In fact, it's difficult to avoid destroying their bodies with your attacks, and while Pascal escapes with the children, everyone else is murdered. There is plenty of grim stuff in this game, especially on the third playthrough, but this one really got to me. These were kind machines who only wanted to live in peace and discover what to make of their burgeoning personalities. It's a very deliberate decision by the dev team to tear this place down when they do, and to do it in such a cruel way. These are the most endearing characters we meet during the game, and the village was one of the few places of peace you have to get away from the endless war. Where the first two playthroughs are about building the world and introducing the themes of the story, Route C is about tearing everything you know down. In the beginning, you lose your allies at Yorha and their base, and then you lose your main character in 2B, and places you used to know like the amusement park are corrupted. Those are all hits, but I think losing Pascal's village hurts most of all. Of course, we're not nearly done yet. A devastated Pascal is holed up at the factory with the children, and when you get there it comes under attack. Enraged, you and Pascal go out to fight. It's easy to miss this, but one of the saddest parts of this whole story is Pascal vowing to kill the other machines. Pascal was a pacifist. He was the first machine to reject the war and try to do something different. And now things have escalated to the point where he's angrily ready to destroy his fellow machines. As much as it feels like a cathartic badass moment for the two of you to go out and fight together to protect the children and avenge the villagers, and getting to take control of an Engels as Pascal feels really powerful, it's a testament to what war does to people. This isn't meant to be a heroic or triumphant fight. It's the wholesale destruction of the ideals that Pascal lived by and a physical manifestation of his sorrow. And then the fight is over and you're still controlling Pascal. When playing this the first time, I was legitimately afraid to move forward. The fact that they keep the player's perspective on Pascal immediately tells you that his ordeal isn't done yet and that you're about to see something really awful through his eyes. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happens. You go into the factory to find that during the battle, the children all impaled their own cores, committing suicide. Pascal collapses, destroyed by despair but also guilt. He was the one that taught them individuality. He taught them to think, to feel, to become more human. And in doing so, he introduced something the machines never felt before: fear. Often during Nier Automata, we see machines who are afraid of pain, of being killed, even though unlike androids, they don't physically feel those things, aside from Adam and Eve. And for a long time, it just seems like a creepy detail that they're doing to make you feel for the machines. They're just copying humans, and humans have pain and the fear of pain. The machines can't fully understand what it means, and that makes it even more confusing and difficult to deal with. The children, having witnessed the horrors of what happened to the village, can't comprehend the idea of what bad things could happen to them in the future. On the network, they had all the information they need to function. Without it, they're walking blindly into the future, developing feelings that they'd never had before, and they don't quite know what to do with that. Again, this part of the story is about tearing down everything we've built during the first couple of playthroughs. This event is a complete rejection of Pascal's ideals and goals. From his perspective, it was his own pursuit of knowledge and individuality that very directly led to the deaths of everyone that was important to him. It's too much for his burgeoning mind and heart to comprehend, and so he asks us to help him, to either erase his memory, to delete the pain from his heart, or to kill him. I'm gonna level with you for a second. If you haven't played this yet, and you're going to at some point, if you care about Pascal, you should kill him. If you do decide to delete his memories, the resulting hacking game is a heartbreaker, as we hear echoes of the children asking Pascal to play with him. At the end, Pascal goes off, and you can find him in the machine village where he operates a special shop. This shop sells machine parts that are used in upgrading weapons. They're pretty rare too, so it's actually really convenient. And you might see this and think, well, he's living in blissful ignorance and you get something out of it, so everything's fine. But if you pay attention, he's not selling you these parts out of nowhere. He's getting them from all around the village. He calls them junk. He is, without realizing the implications, giving away the scattered parts of his people. With his memory erased, Pascal is incapable of understanding what this means, but as someone who loved Pascal, this was a final, brutal injustice. Pascal would have hated this. I believe fully that he would rather have died if he knew that this was how it would end. Pascal really, truly cared about the machines he brought into his village, and this desecration of their corpses is something he would never have abided. That the grimmest decision you can make in this game is the one that benefits you as a player the most is a pure Yoko Taro move, but having seen both options, I would rather just spend a few hours farming for parts and not have to do this to Pascal. This section of the game is a non-stop rollercoaster of emotional devastation. It would be really easy to say that it's all just shock value or sadness porn, but it follows and explores the themes of the game. Both the androids and machines are exploring artificial intelligence and humanity. The androids have had thousands of years to basically become human, but the machines are just coming into it. They're also going against their design, where the androids were built to mimic their creators. Imagine a bunch of small children walking into an abandoned school and trying to learn based on whatever was left behind. They could approximate a lot of knowledge based on what's there, but there would be no context. The machines are trying to figure out concepts like family that involve a number of systems and ways of thinking that would never occur to them naturally, even without the obvious physical differences. Their original existence as single-minded beings on a network is, from a human perspective, shallow and meaningless. They have no will, no personality, no desires beyond their initial commands. Humanity comes with the potential for joy, fulfillment, and discovery, but it also comes with confusion, sadness, pain, and fear. Even the androids seem paradoxically designed to have human qualities while also trying to deny them in service of their mission. A2 struggles to understand Pascal even though she's a more advanced android, and seeing the destruction of everything he loves and ultimately himself is a huge turning point for her character. Nier Automata is ultimately about humanity and life itself, and whether all the pain and suffering are worth it. The last three endings of the game are all different examinations of this idea. At the end of the game, 9S is so damaged by the loss of 2B and his discoveries about how contrived the war he's been fighting is, that he's ready to let the whole thing end, taking out everybody. It is, ironically, the machines who ultimately convince him, depending on the ending, that life is worth living, that it's worth pursuing this ideal, this humanity that so many have died because of and in the service of, and that seems to have created nothing but problems. Pascal's storyline is grim, but so is life. I mean, this is a game that follows the extinction of the human race. Even if you're the single bright light in a world of darkness, that doesn't make you safe. You can still suffer, and in fact, your suffering will be worse because you actually care. Having something to love and protect is what gave Pascal so much to lose. In the end, he doesn't feel that it was worth it. The pain is too great for him to live with. The game doesn't give us any easy conclusions here. It's up to each of us to decide whether what Pascal had, what he was trying to achieve, was worth the sacrifice that it necessitated. In the end, I think Nier Automata is actually a hopeful game, more so than the original Nier for sure. But ending E, which is full of life and hope and togetherness not only with the characters but with the other people who have played the game, is one we have to pay a high cost for. The serene final sequence is not one we were just handed at the end of the story, a nice bow tied around it, a happily ever after to put us at ease and leave us feeling good. We suffered for it, the characters suffered for it, and in truth we lost so much more than we gained for it. But at the end there's still something left. It's not much, it might not have been worth the cost, but That's the game's answer to the questions it's asking. Humanity is a horrible burden. It's complicated and messy, and understanding morality means understanding that it's unfair and that not everyone gets to be happy. But the absence of something implies the possibility of it. And for some reason, be it self-preservation or naivety or foolishness, the pursuit of that idea that there is happiness, that there is meaning and joy out there, that's enough to keep us going, even when it seems pointless and impossible. I'm going to close this out with a quote from Neil Gaiman's The Sandman. You attend the funeral. You bid the dead farewell. You grieve. Then you continue with your life. And at times, the fact of her absence will hit you like a blow to the chest, and you will weep. But this will happen less and less as time goes on. She's dead. You are alive. So live.